It's midnight and you are tuned in to Nightline with me, Adrian Seet. The top stories. Barisan Nasional retains a Pelangai state seat for the 10th time. And Hamas and Israel at war. Thanks for joining us. The Barisan Nasional has retained the Pelangai state seat in Pahang after its candidate Dato' Amiza Abu Adam secured a 2,949 vote majority in a three-cornered fight against Kasim Samad of Perikatan Nasional and independent candidate Hasli Helmi DM Zul Hasli. The party managed to win the seat for the remarkable 10th consecutive time, with both BN and PN now holding 17 state seats each. The result was announced by returning officer Dato' Muhammad Shahid Ismail at the vote tallying centre at Dewan Orang Ramai Felda, Kamasul in Bentong on Saturday night.
Cikgu Kasim, Perikatan Nasional, bilangan undi 4,375. Hasli Helmi DM Denzul Hasli, bebas, bilangan undi 47. Dato' Amiza bin Abu Adam, Barisan Nasional, bilangan undi 7,324.
Muhammad Shahid also said that the voter turnout was 72.12%. A total of 16,456 electors were eligible to cast their ballots in the by-election, including 36 police personnel and 3 overseas absentee voters. The Pelangai by-election was held after its incumbent, Dato' Sri Johari Harun, died in a plane crash near Bandar Elmina in Shah Alam, Selangor on August the 17th. Speaking to the media later, Amiza pledged to fulfill the trust given by the voters to him and gave his commitment to continue the legacy of his predecessor, the late Johari.
Saya juga mengucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada semua pundi-pundi di Don Pelangai N36 yang telah memilih ataupun mengundi Barisan Nasional sebagai parti yang akan memberikan perkhidmatan kepada di Don Pelangai ini, insya-Allah. Terima kasih banyak sekali lagi.
Following the result of the by-election, Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who is also BN Chairman and UMNO President, congratulated Amiza as well as the BN and Pakatan Harapan election machinery for ensuring victory for the coalition.
Ini adalah petanda bahawa tidak ada gelombang hijau di negeri Pahang. Yang ada adalah gelombang biru dan gelombang merah. Terima kasih.
Meanwhile, Pahang Menteri Besar Dato' Sri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail, who is also UMNO Vice President and State UMNO Chief, said that BN's win in the by-election shows that the unity government is well accepted by voters.
Ini pilihan raya kecil. Biasalah. Kadang-kadang penurunan sedikit itu kita tidak dapat elakkan. Tapi yang penting kita telah berusaha sehabis baik dan insyaAllah kita akan lihat mengapa terjadi begitu dan kita akan baiki di masa-masa yang akan datang.
Earlier, Election Commission EC Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh said that the turnout amongst young voters in a Pelangai state by-election was very encouraging. He also said that this was a good development compared to several previous by-elections.
Kalau kita lihat dia punya para pengundi datang awal dan berbaris panjang. Kalau yang sudah-sudah ni orang muda dia lewat sikit. Untuk yang di sini saya nampak ada satu semangat perubahan.
Previously, the EC had expected the turnout to reach the 70% target. This was the 4th by-election held after the 15th general election in November of last year. A total of 9,500 new teachers will be recruited this November to address the current teacher shortage issue nationwide. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq on Saturday revealed that the interview process has already been completed.
Dia dah selesai temuduga tu dan akan segeralah untuk membuat penempatan. Sampai November 9 ada kekurangan bila ada persaraan, ada yang berhenti, dan kemudian kita akan cepat-cepat gantilah. Dan itu sebab itu kita katakan dia sementara. Dan proses kita mendapatkan bekalan guru ni ataupun kita panggil untuk mendapatkan unjuran guru ni, kita laksanakan bersama dengan SPP hanya dengan segera mungkinlah untuk memastikan kekosongan itu sifatnya sementara. Sentiasa berlaku.
Fadlina said this at a press conference after officiating the Agrotech Madani at KVKPM Carnival 2023 at Pasir Puteh Vocational College on Saturday. Recently, the National Union of the Teaching Profession (NUTP) claimed that schools nationwide are facing a shortage of 20,000 teachers. Its president, Aminuddin Awang, said the issue, which was previously associated with schools in rural areas, has also spread to schools in urban areas because no new teaching staff have been hired to replace those who have retired. Meanwhile, on the school toilet maintenance program for all schools, Fadlina said the work was now 90% complete. In July, her ministry was reported to have given 3 months to schools nationwide to complete the maintenance of school toilets for the comfort of the students through an allocation of 70,000 ringgit to each school. In other news, schools in areas with an air pollution index API reading of more than 200 can be closed immediately without waiting for the approval of the District Education Office. Deputy Education Minister Lim Hui Ying said all heads of schools were reminded to always monitor the API reading in their own areas through the Environment Department's website.
Selagi IPU adalah 100 ke atas, semua aktiviti di luar bilik darjah yang melibatkan murid mesti diberhentikan. Yang ini adalah pertama. Kedua, jika IPU mencapai 200, sekolah akan tutup. Iaitu murid-murid akan tidak digalakkan, tidak balik ke sekolah, sekolah akan tutup. Semua pembelajaran akan dilakukan secara online.
Speaking to reporters after visiting Chew Jetty in Georgetown on Saturday, Lim advised students to wear face masks while in school and to drink plenty of water. She also advised parents to always check their children's health and reduce outdoor activities following the poor air quality. Police have proposed that the starting salary scheme for constables be adjusted to the national minimum wage rate of 1,500 ringgit per month. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said the proposal takes into account the increase in the cost of living, especially for low-ranking police officers.
Kalau apa yang telah pun dasar kerajaan pelaksanaan gaji minimum ini ada 1,500. Dan kita ke arah grade YA1 ini, kalau saya sebut tadi gaji dia 1,441. Maksudnya untuk konstable yang baru, kita memohon supaya gaji minimum ini dilaksanakan kepada konstable kita.
Speaking at an event at the Wildlife Crime Bureau at the Ulu Kinta General Operations Force shooting range in Ipoh, Perak on Saturday, Razaruddin said he had also proposed an additional increase of 30% of the annual salary increment KGT for certain levels in the police force. He said he had also proposed that the government review the rates for the cost of living assistance or COLA received by officers and personnel. It was reported in July that Razaruddin said he was seeking to reduce opportunities for corruption via a review of salaries for policemen.
Penjenayah yang paling dikendaki iaitu Mat Komando berjaya melarikan diri.
Kalau polis umpamanya nak bertindak, he want to kill the policeman.
Kumpulan ni, dia rompak dia tak pakai topi muka. Dia memang pergi rompak 1,000 begitu saja.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD di Tonton.
Former Goldman Sachs banker Roger Ng Chong Hua was expected to return to Malaysia at midnight on Saturday to assist investigations into the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB scandal. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, who confirmed the matter earlier, said the government's focus is on recovering assets linked to the case.
Kita pun invoke perjanjian itu dan maka dia pihak DOJ bersetuju untuk dia dihantar balik. Bagi tujuan apa? Bagi tujuan pihak berkuasa di Malaysia meneruskan siasatan mengenai apa? Mengenai 1MDB ataupun mengenai Goldman Sachs. Ya. Dan fokus kita adalah kepada asset recovery.
Saifuddin said this at a press conference after launching the Menyemai Kasih Rakyat program with the post-Kuala Mu Orang Asli community in Sungai Siput, Perak on Saturday. The minister added that Ng had been allowed to attend trial in the United States, where he had been convicted but had not yet begun serving his jail term. He also said Ng will be in Malaysia only temporarily to assist the relevant agencies in their probe before returning to the US. On Friday, the media reported that Ng, who has been sentenced to 10 years in prison in New York for his involvement in embezzling billions of dollars from 1MDB, will be handed over to Malaysia to face charges. Meanwhile, Transparency International Malaysia said the repatriation of Roger Ng to Malaysia demonstrates the government's commitment to recovering the 1MDB assets. Its president, Dr. Mohamed Mohan, said the return of the former Goldman Sachs banker would shed more light on the 1MDB case and the bank's involvement in the mega scandal. He added that if the government successfully recovers more than 80% of the 1MDB assets, it will be considered a significant achievement for the government, and that will also project a positive image for Malaysia. The country's unemployment rate continues to show a falling trend, with a 3.5% recorded in the first quarter of 2023 compared to 3.6% in the fourth quarter of 2022. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar said this is due to a significant shift in job-seeking trends, especially amongst the youth recently.
Memang ada trend perubahan dalam trend pencarian, tetapi selepas COVID memang keadaan agak huru-hara sedikit. Ramai yang telah diberhentikan pekerjaan dan mereka tidak tahu di mana mereka nak bekerja dan sebagainya, dan mereka mencari pekerjaan yang sesuai dengan kebolehan dan minat mereka.
He said this at a press conference after launching the Madani tour with the Human Resources Ministers program in Pulau Sebang, Melaka on Saturday. At the same time, he said there were various initiatives being implemented by the government to assist job seekers aged 40 and above. Data from the My Future Jobs portal also showed that 455,350 job seekers nationwide have been successfully placed in various sectors from 2022 until September 2023. Sivakumar added that his ministry with other agencies, including the Social Security Organisation SOCSO, will make more efforts to reduce youth unemployment rates and to equip them with adequate training and skills to enter the highly competitive job market. The ministry is also monitoring development and trends worldwide to identify potential future jobs that are in high demand, such as cybersecurity and digitalization. The Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, on Saturday opened the new Bagan Dato Bridge and consented for it to be named the Sultan Nazrin Shah Bridge. With the official opening of the 1.5-kilometre-long bridge that spans across the Perak River, residents in the area as well as those from nearby districts can enjoy a shorter travel distance by about 50 kilometres, reducing their journey by over an hour. Sultan Nazrin, accompanied by Raja Permaisuri Perak Tuanku Zara Salim, was greeted on arrival at the event by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who is also Bagan Datuk Member of Parliament. Also present were Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Saarani Muhammad and Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi. The ceremony began with the Perak State Anthem, followed by the recitation of the Quran and a prayer before Sultan Nazrin performed the inauguration and signed a plaque. The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, also presented a water performance for the attendees during the ceremony, which took place in the middle section of the bridge. Meanwhile, Ahmad Zahid in his speech said the opening of the Sultan Nazrin Shah Bridge would attract more visitors to Bagan Dato, providing the locals with economic spillover effects. The new icon of the people of Bagan Dato also had been entered in the Malaysia Book of Records 2023 as the longest elevated pile slab carriageway and the most pile points on an elevated pile slab carriageway. Built at a cost of 460 million ringgit, the groundbreaking ceremony for the bridge linking Bagandato and Kampung Sejagop in Pasir Salak was held in 2017. Haze hits Singapore as air quality worsens. News from the foreign front after this breather. Onto the foreign front. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights called on Saturday for an immediate halt to violence in Gaza and Israel after Hamas, the Palestinian armed group, launched its biggest attack on Israel in years. Volker Turk said he was shocked by reports that hundreds of rockets had been fired towards Israel and reports that Israeli civilians have also been taken hostage. Now, earlier on Saturday, Hamas has launched the biggest attack on Israel in a surprise assault that combined gunmen crossing the border with a heavy barrage of rockets fired from the Gaza Strip, killing at least 100 Israelis and wounding hundreds of others. The attack, which began at 6:30 a.m. local time, involved barrages of rockets fired from multiple locations in Gaza, as well as fighters infiltrating the Israeli border by land, sea and air. A senior Hamas military commander, Mohammad Dief, said the rocket fire marked the start of Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, calling on Palestinians everywhere to fight the Israeli occupation. Mohammad stated that the military operation was in response to all the atrocities the Palestinians have faced over the decades, urging the international community to stop acts of cruelty in Gaza against Palestinian people and the holy sites like Al-Aqsa. In a statement posted on Telegram, he also called on the resistant fighters in the West Bank as well as Arab and Islamic nations to join the battle. The Saturday's attack marked an unprecedented infiltration into Israel by Hamas and the heaviest blow for Israel in the conflict with Palestinians since the suicide bombings of the Second Intifada some 2 decades ago. In response to a barrage of more than 2,000 rockets fired from the Gaza Strip, Israel has announced Operation Iron Swords against the armed wing of Hamas, launching an attack with dozens of fighter jets targeting the Hamas organization in the Gaza Strip. Now, so far, it was reported that at least 198 Palestinians were killed and 1,160 were wounded in the Palestinian enclave of Gaza during Israel's retaliation. The toll came as Israeli military carried out a number of airstrikes in Gaza and clashed with gunmen at the border fence around the coastal territory. Earlier, Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu said Hamas would pay a price that it has not known until now, calling its military to clear the infiltrated towns of Hamas that remained locked in gunfights with Israeli soldiers. The Zionist regime said Hamas has made a grave mistake by launching a war against its territory, adding that it will win the war. The air quality in Singapore fell into the unhealthy range on Saturday for the first time since 2019, as winds brought haze from Indonesia's forest fires. Now, according to the National Environment Agency NEA, as of 5 p.m. local time, the 24-hour Pollutant Standards Index, PSI, for the eastern and central regions of Singapore were 120 and 112 respectively, levels at which people are advised to reduce prolonged strenuous outdoor activities. The agency also said that 212 hotspots were detected on Indonesia's nearby Sumatra Island on Friday, up from 65 on Thursday and 15 the day before. Previously, the most severe haze conditions recorded in Singapore were in September 2015, when the 24-hour index exceeded 300 to the hazardous level. A magnitude 6.3 earthquake hit western Afghanistan on Saturday, followed by 5 large aftershocks, with the epicenter close to the region's largest city, causing 15 deaths and dozens of injuries. Now, due to reports of landslides and building collapses, officials said the initial toll was preliminary, as hundreds of fatalities were possible. According to the United States Geological Survey, the epicenter was 40 kilometers northwest of the region's largest city of Herat and was followed by 5 aftershocks, with magnitudes of 5.5, 4.7, 6.3, 5.9 and 4.6. Crowds of residents and shopkeepers fled buildings in the city when the first quake hit at around 11 a.m. local time. The rugged terrain of Afghanistan is prone to seismic activity due to the collision of the Indian tectonic plate with the Eurasian plate to the north, leading to earthquakes. After this breather, Malaysia keeps medal count going. Stay with us. On to sports, the 2022 Hangzhou Asian Games. The Malaysian contingent has kept the medal count going after the karate and sepak takraw teams delivered 2 more medals on Saturday. National karate exponent Arif Afifuddin obtained goal number 6 for Malaysia when he emerged as champion in the men's kumite below 84 kilograms final. The 23-year-old produced a slick and brave performance to defeat 2021 World Championship bronze medalist Daniya Yuldashev of Kazakhstan 10-4. His win also ended the country's 9-year karate gold drought. In another event, the national men's sepak takraw squad failed to defend their inter-group title after losing to Thailand 0-2 in the final. Despite taking home the silver, the national team showed great fighting spirit to challenge their sleek opponents, especially in the second set. But luck was on the side of the Thais, who were crowned champions after a 21-15, 21-19 victory. Turning to football, the Saudi Pro League. Abah fought back from 2 goals down to hold Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr to a 2-2 draw. Al Nassr opened the scoring 3 minutes into the game through Portuguese midfielder Otávio, before Talisca doubled the advantage with a close-range shot in the 28th minute. 10 minutes from half-time, however, Otávio conceded a penalty, which was put away by Tunisian midfielder Saad Abiguer to narrow Al Nassr's lead. Abah's Karl Toko Ikambi later ended Louis Castro's side's 10-game winning streak with a long-range effort in stoppage time for a 2-2 draw. The result meant that Al Nassr are 3 points off league leaders Al Ta'awun, while Abah are in 15th place with 7 points. More to come. 8 more suspects linked to tow truck brawl arrested. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In Kuala Lumpur, 8 more people were arrested by the police over the past 2 days over a fight involving rival factions of tow truck drivers at Kampung Malaysia Tambahan in Cheras recently. City Police Chief Dato' Alauddin Abdul Majid on Saturday said the 8 suspects detained were aged between 20 and 35, and all of them have been remanded for 2 to 3 days. According to Alauddin, the police are currently tracking down several more suspects. Before this, authorities had arrested 22 people for their alleged involvement in the fight, which involved weapons that occurred on Monday. It was reported previously that the fight, which started at 1:37 a.m., occurred after an argument had broken out between the two tow truck groups over who was eligible to tow away a client's vehicle. A video of the incident showing the altercation between the two groups was also widely circulated on social media. The case is now being investigated under Section 148 of the Penal Code for rioting. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as a young Palestinian drummer made his dream of owning a drum set come true after building his own using recycled objects. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.